What's going on, Wash World? Well, I was going to make a long video and detailed video about roof washing with the new pump that I have, but I recorded everything in time lapse. So maybe the next one I'll get to it. This would have been the perfect one because it's one story. It's easy to film. It's not 2 or 3 stories and I have to have a camera up on the roof and all kinds of weird stuff going on just to make sure I get video. But really quick before we get into the main part of this video, doing that house or roof wash, I am using a new pump. It's called the Pumptec X6. Now, I have an earlier pump that Pumptec themselves is kind of on the fence about using for this because it's an aluminum head on it. These are not cheap pumps. They're like $1,600 a pop, fully outfitted. But it is 12 volt. It is a complete game changer from the 12 volt pumps that everyone's been using, like the North Star and Everflow before. You get a large percentage, they always at the head tell you the gallons per minute. You're getting really close to that after 200 feet of hose at 6.4 gallons a minute with this pump, and anywhere from 90-ish to 150 psi, and it throws the volume out. It took me no time at all to do this roof, but they're coming out with an improved one with either plastic, ceramic, or maybe a little bit of both parts in their new heads. There's ceramic in the one that I have, but anyway, what I'm getting at is there's some parts they wanted to tweak, and that new pump is supposed to drop at any time, so keep your eye on that. And for more info, check out Ray Notario's video. He's been using them for a while. And Jimmy Hall at Freedom Wash Systems in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Make sure you make sure it's in Spartanburg, South Carolina when you do a search for him, because there's several Freedom Washes and don't want you reaching out to the wrong person. Anyway, and it's Jimmy Hall. He has actually been working with Pumptec to help them with the new and improved one that's coming out. I've had no problems with mine, and maybe I won't at all. But time will tell. $1,600 investment. I saw it as worth it because a couple of house washes, it's paid for. Anything after that's money, and I just wanted to see what they would do. So far, I highly recommend them. But as you can see there, the client, stopping, asking some questions. She is a very detail-oriented person. I would go so far as to say there's some real OCD there, because she likes very detailed things. She likes structure and can notice the most minute flaws. This is not a client that you or anyone else out there in Wash World would have satisfied by closing the deal over the phone. You'd have just looked at this 1,600 square foot home plus the garage and said, yeah, throwing a price at them, and you'd have failed miserably at that price when you got there. High standards when it comes to cleanliness around this house. In the original walkthrough, she pointed out some very, very minor details that most anybody else in the world would never see, especially when it came to the windows and the window jambs. I did those as well. She wanted all of it cleaned, and when she says all of it, she means all of it. And I took the time to recognize that, and I also took the time to tell her what kind of price that meant, basically per square foot, for this house to be washed with the roof, the siding, the windows, and all the surface cleaning. She was completely fine with it. So was her husband. They understood that it was going to take a lot of money to meet their expectations. They just wanted someone to meet their expectations. Again, no one would have known the details to go through had you not shown up, or I'm not shown up to this job in person, spoke with them, and seen their quote unquote problems with the previous cleaners. So don't always think that, or get on this bandwagon of close them over the phone. I rarely do it. I said it before in other videos. This one is just more proof that no matter how small or how big the house is, you never know who's in it, how much they're willing to pay for it to get done right. This was no small ticket by any means. And during the whole process with the roof, the house, the surface cleaning, and the windows, she was around and observing and looking and watching, not in my way in any shape, form, or fashion, but she kept her eye on everything. And I took the time to stop and say, hey, I'm considering this done. I'm moving over here. Let me know if you see anything. I made it through the roof work, through the house wash, through the windows and the surface cleaning without her having to say, hey, retouch this. Why? Because I pay a lot of attention to details too, so it's not that hard to overcome. But again, I knew what her expectations were, so I made extra sure that I got them all and was done with this job at roughly 4 hours for everything. They loved it, but had I not met them in person and visually seen what their problems were, no matter how minor they were, she would have been a nightmare client in the end. I would have been a nightmare service business for her, and it would have just escalated to who knows where. I mean, with social media these days, things get crazy kind of quick. But again, because I met them in person and took the time and appropriately charged for my time, they were very easily satisfied. They were beyond happy with what I did and in the short amount of time that I did it. They didn't care how much I was charging them. Again, they just wanted it done right. And that's what I gave to them. So don't go along completely with this game of, oh, you need to be fully automated for your systems and how you take these jobs and everything. And some people could probably say, well, you're taking too much time with the client, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not, because I'm actually billing for that time. It's not taking any time out of my day. I'm still at work when I'm doing these things, so they get billed for it. Do I get every client? No, but it all washes out in the mix. The thing is, the point that I'm trying to make is, this size house would have been one of those, homes where somebody would have tried to close them over the phone, and it would have been a nightmare, as I said before. Nothing enjoyable for either you nor the clients in the end. This is why I highly encourage you, every time you can, go to the job, because you never know what's there when it comes to the client or when it comes to the work itself. You could shoot yourself in the foot real quick by not laying your eyes on it. And if you're working, keeping your route dense, as a lot of people like to say they do, the odds that you're going to pass this area on your way home from a job to give them an estimate are really good. So stop and do it, in my opinion. But I say in my opinion because of this. There's a lot of people out there in YouTube and the rest of the world that are all out there on the quantity so that they can brag about numbers. Whole numbers, not actual numbers. And I say actual numbers, I mean what they're actually making at the end of the day. I revolve around quality. I pick and choose quality customers at the very least as much as they're picking me. And I charge a premium for that, no matter if it's 1,600 square foot home like this, or if it's a 5,000 square foot home. I want people that want things done right. And maybe that's what made me and this couple such a good match. I don't know, but that's what I shoot for. So I'm not worried about how often my phone rings. I'm worried about who is ringing my phone. Because if you're not looking for quality, I'm not looking for you. This job was very expensive for the time and square footage, but again, it was done right. It was done beyond their expectations, and they're happy. I'm happy. And I don't need to spend a lot of money and time trying to find the next client. I have time to do that because, again, I'm out there looking for quality, which means I have time to go sniffing around because it's a higher ticket that's going to pay off in the thousands, not $400 or $500. Anyway, I hope this video helped you in a way when it comes to what clients to choose and how to choose them and how to work with some difficult clients, because there are plenty of them out there. And it's hard to know if they're difficult at all if you've never met them. This is how you're going to wind up with bad reviews, is because you didn't meet some expectations. Not to say that there aren't some crazies out there. You know where I'm going with all this. Anyway, y'all have a good one, and I'll